Good day, grade 10. Today is our MAPEH Physical Education from the third quarter, week 5. My name is Mr. Rinaldo B. Mulimban. And today's lesson, we talk about the sports leadership. The annual sports activities for community or school games give the students a chance to become good athlete or sports leader. The individual who are responsible for managing a group or enterprise is called manager or leader. The people or individuals whose efforts directed by manager are called subordinates and exert authority effectively and carry out their responsibilities. A manager must have leadership, the ability of motivate a group or a team perform effectively certain goals. So, sport leadership is the ability of an individual, a teacher, athlete, or students to lead his team to perform effectively, to win or to play as a good athlete in the sports competition. From the sports management, it involves planning, organizing, developing, and conducting the sports activity to improve the athlete's performance or a player competence of the sport officials through the standardizations of all input and procedure to ensure success of the sports program. Sports program of the school or community covers a variety of activities which aim to enhance the physical, social, and physiological development of each student. A sound sports program can only be attained through the proper management of your material and human resources. Material resources is facilities include the material used for sports. Human resources includes the athletes who participate in the sports program. So we have the three stages in the sound sports program are planning, executions, and evaluation. This can be achieved through the competence of the sports leaders and organizers who are well versed with the skills necessary or successful sports of management. Let's talk about the factors to be considered in sport management. Number 1 is the physical and social conditions to the participants and planners. 2. Available material and financial resources. 3. Environmental conditions. 4. Weather conditions. 5. Political conditions. Aside from that, we talk also the sports activities among the schools today's are. 1 is the intramural games, 2 inter-school meets, 3 inter-district meets, 4 provincial meets, 5 regional meets, 6 national meets, and number 7 international meets. From the program committee, a successful organizations and management of the games need to executive committee headed by the chairman and a co-chairman who are charged planning the overall program of the activities during the competition. The whole workload for the sports activity is divided among the different committees. Number 1 is the Committee on Program in Education. It takes charge of the preparations of the program proper, the printing of invitations, as well as the sending of the invitation to all concerned. Number 2, the Sports Facilities and Equipment Committee. It decides on the venues of the games, sees to it that the facilities are in order to free from hazards or dangers. It prepares all necessary equipments before the games. Number 3, Committee on Peace and Order. He in charge of maintaining peace and order and checks for security matters of all those who are seeking entry to the tournament site. Number 4 rather, Committee on Discipline and Protest. It solves and decides technical problems that may arise during the tournament and impose the necessary disciplinary measure. 5. Awards Committee. From the Awards Committee, it is in charge of taking complete and official list of winners and the awarding of medals, trophies, plaques, certificates, and others. 6. Technical Committee. In charge of each event and decides a violation committed either the individual players or by the team by settle on this according to the rules of the games. The technical committee is composed of referee, assistant referee, chairman of each event, assisted by co-chairman. Let's talk about the intramurals. From the word intramurals was derived from the Latin word intra, which means within, and murals, which means walls. The intramural, meaning within the walls program, provides students staff the opportunity to become actively involved in variety of organized sports structured for different skills levels are conducted in safe environment. Intramural sports are a fun way to play, let friends learn new sports, test your physical ability, and relieve stress to schoolwork. The season play is generally round-robin format, and playoffs are generally single elimination or double elimination formats. Let's talk also the requirements and rules and regulation. There are games requirements, rules, and registration in intramural activities. Eligibility requirements for intramural athletes. One is the student. All students currently enrolled in school will be granted priority for registrations of events. 2. Varsity athletes, professional athletes, and alumni are not eligible intramural competition in their sports during the academic year. Now, from the rule and regulations. All students currently enrolled in the school will be granted priority for the registration on the event. Number 1. Registrations. Players must be registered names, student's ID number, and address on the appropriate entry form and also the birth certificate and submit it to be eligible for competition. Number 2. Division classification. No female shall be eligible for participation in the male division. Likewise, no male shall be eligible for participation in female division. Female or male students may participate for female-male division. Number 3. Identification. Identification card is the only acceptable identification for participation in intramural sports. Number 4. Protest. From the protest may be considered if the following procedures are followed. Any question which concern the judgments or official activities of supervisor are not adequate grounds for protest. A protest will be considered only if it involves question the proper procedure and error by interpretations of the rule. Decisions rendered by the intramural coordinator concerning the protest are final. Game in which protests appealed with the played from point or protest. 5 is default. A default fee is required for intramural activities and must be paid as soon as sports submitted. Default fees will be refunded and conclusion the turn which they entered. Team not ready to play, the scheduled time lost and portion of their default fee. 6. Postponement. Game postponed due in inclement weather or field conditions and or advised by intramural office with reschedule for the next available intramural playing day. There are also postponements for the postponements of the rescheduling of regular games due to team or personal complex. 7. Accessories. No jewelry or body accessory may be worn during any intramural sports activity. Now, let's move on for another view in fair play philosophy. Fair play philosophy, all participants are expected to adhere to honesty policy with regard to the eligibility rules interpretation and administrative procedure. In order to encourage proper conduct to maintain control during the game, sports officials shall make decision on whether to warn, finalize, or eject players of a team. Code of conduct. Without your opponent, you have no game, no contest, and no fun. The spirit of fair play is based on cooperation, high standard of integrity, and cooperative competition. Penalty. Upon being finalized or ejected from any game or contest, the individual involved are automatically suspended from further intramural competition and must arrange the appointment with the intramural coordinator to petition for probationary status. On the team, captives also are vital link the communication process between the intramural officials and individual participants. They are responsible for obtaining and understanding the intramural information, passing it into the team members. In the award, official intramural championship shirts and or official sponsor prizes will be presented to all winners upon the conclusions of each activity. Intramural award not claimed by participant after 1 month for each term shall be forfeited. Referees also officials deserve the players' highest respect because they represent the character and integrity of the game. Students interested in working as intramural sports referee are encouraged to contact an intramural coordinator. Next, from the health and safety. The safety of all participants' staff is given the utmost importance and concern by intramural office to reduce hazards and prevent injury and accident. Environmental and equipment checks should be done prior to the start of the game to assure the maximum safety of all players. We have the health. In the health school, strongly recommended the individual player must have regular physical examination before the participating in intramural sports program. Sickly athlete or physically injured individuals should not be allowed to participate in athletic games. From the first aid, these are basic first aid for minor injuries and accidents must be available at the intramural site. Also the insurance. All participants have adequate medical, health, life insurance and be responsible for their own health. Rex. The participant hereby acknowledges that he or she has voluntarily chosen participate in the intramural sports program. The participation or participants understand the risks involved the program, and he or she organized the program. Its activities involve risks injury, and agrees accept any of risks associated with it, including but not limited to property damage or loss, minor bodily injury, severe bodily injury, and death. And also, all participants must read the acknowledgement for risks and agree to the following. We also include the sport attire. So each partisan must be wear athletic type shoes for indoor activities. Only the marking court shoes are permitted. For outdoor activities, only rubber soled cleats may be worn. Metal clicks are not permitted. Team shirts of similar color and style are recommended for a football, soccer and volleyball, basketball, softball, ice hockey, and floor hockey. And also the facilities in equipment. There are some of material equipment needed for each game. We have the court, the ball, the stopwatch, the whistle, the post and net, and the score sheets. And also introduce the sports officials. The third official is defined a group or individual that have undergone rigid training in sports officiating referee course the control of manage the game. Sports officiating is part of sports management, which deals directly with the proper conduct in the game and to allow the game to progress with little interference as possible. There are two types of sports officials. One is a field of court official and the two is table officials. Take note of this. A physical fitness, everything from emotional strength to perfect balance, from a wonderful figure to an inner peace. And also, the three elements of fitness are strength, suppleness, and stamina. And do warm-up exercise are excellent for improving basic body movement. That's all for today's lessons. In your module, please answer carefully. For more updates, please monitor our e-class online